Hey y'all, I'm Mandy, and this is Mandy in the Making. Today I'm answering your questions. I've never done a Q&A on my channel before. I did a get to know me video, and I'll link that up here. But that was just questions that I found on the internet that I answered just so that you guys could get to know me a little better. These are questions that I got from some of my Instagram followers. If you aren't following me on Instagram, you totally should. But I just asked on there for any questions they wanted to know that maybe I haven't answered yet, and I would do a Q&A video. So let's get started. Okay, the first question came from Jessie. She said, I love your videos. What made you start them? I simply wanted to have a hobby. My son is 13, and yes, I homeschool, but he's very independent on a lot of his work. So there was just a lot of downtime for me. I just wanted something to do, and I love watching YouTube videos, and I love the creativity behind the editing and all of that. So I thought, let's give it a shot, and it's been a lot of fun. Jessie also asked, how do you keep your house clean on the weekends? Like I mentioned, I have a 13-year-old son, so he doesn't have a whole lot of toys that he has to play with. The only toy that he really cares about is the PlayStation, let's just be real. But, so there's not a whole lot of mess other than like cups and plates and stuff like that. And on the weekends, I really don't care that much if it gets a little messy. That's my time to enjoy with my family. My husband is here all of the time, so is my son. I homeschool, but my husband is always busy with work. He's in his office, so he doesn't get to interact with me a whole lot except on the weekends. So I really just soak that time up, and I mean, I may just pick up at night before I go to bed, just so I don't wake up, the next morning with a mess, but I don't really clean during the weekend. So Mackenzie asked what was the first channel that I subscribed to? And that's a good question because I'm not really sure. A long time ago, I used to watch Lauren Curtis. She's like a beauty guru. I believe she's in Australia, pretty sure. Anyway, but I don't think I subscribed to her. That was before I realized what subscribe was and all of that, because I just somehow happened upon her channel. I really don't know. I think the first person I subscribed to was She's in Her Apron. Kimmy was She's in Her Apron. I love her. I still do. I got to meet her. She did a meetup near my hometown. She is so sweet, and she actually encouraged me to just go ahead and get started with YouTube because I told her I was thinking about it, and she said just do it. So I'm pretty sure Kimmy was the first person I actually subscribed to. Kelsey asked, have you lived in South Carolina your whole life? Yes, with the exception of 2 years. I lived in North Carolina for 2 years. When my husband and I first got married, he was in the Air Force. So we lived in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and then he got out of the Air Force and we moved back home. We're both from this area. She said, if you could live anywhere else, where would you live? I always said I would never live anywhere else. However, I have visited the Nashville area a couple of times now, and I've told my husband, if you ever get a job offer in Nashville that's just amazing and you don't want to pass up, I'm down. Like, we could totally move to Nashville. And I know there's a lot of people moving there, and that's great, but I love that area. Really, really love that area. So Nashville, Tennessee, I could see me living there. But other than that, South Carolina is exactly where I want to be. One more question from Kelsey. She said, where would you like to visit on a dream vacation? If you asked me 10 years ago, I would have said, hands down, Australia. And I still want to visit there. However, the older I get, the more interested I am in Italy. I don't know why. It's so beautiful, and just the history, and it's just gorgeous. And let's be real, the food. Okay, so this next series of questions came from Kilolodel. I hope I'm saying that right. On Instagram. I've talked with her a couple of times, but I don't know what like your name is. I'm sorry. But anyway, she asked, what books, show series, podcasts, etc. have you been loving? So first of all, I don't listen to any podcasts. I really don't even know how to do that. Like, it intrigues me. Tell me how to do that in the comments below. I have no idea. Like, I'm not up with the technology on that one. Show series, I've really been loving Rise. That's a new one that's on NBC right now. But I heard it's probably not going to get renewed, which makes me sad. Any shows I fall in love with get canceled. It just happens. So Rise, and of course This Is Us. On Netflix right now we're watching The Crown. and I'm really enjoying that. We only have one more episode though. There's only 2 seasons. We're at episode 10 of season 2, so I don't know what we'll watch after that, but those are the series that I love. And older show series that I love are Friends, obviously. Everybody Loves Raymond, Golden Girls. Oh, and Reba. I love Reba. As far as books go, I haven't been reading as much lately, which makes me sad. But usually any type of like mystery, thriller type book. Chevy Stevens is one of my favorite authors. Love her. Sandra Brown, Lisa Scottoline, Scottolini. I don't know how you say her name, but I like her writing as well. The next question came from Melanie. She said, what made you choose homeschooling? Several different things. My son had an interest in it. So, number one, if my son was not interested in doing homeschool, I would not have forced him to do it. Simply because he's always been in a brick and mortar school, so I wouldn't have just pulled him, kicking and screaming out of there. He was interested in it. We have some friends that homeschool, and he kept asking about it. We had some issues with bullying last year. Not a whole lot, but it was there. And honestly, I just felt a tug on my heart that I was supposed to. My husband has always wanted me to homeschool, and I was so against it for the longest time. But he was going into 7th grade this past year. He's finishing up 7th grade now. And I remember how horrible 7th grade was for me. There was 2 girls that made my life absolutely miserable. And so with your hormones going all crazy and just, 7th and 8th grade were tough. So I didn't have a problem bringing him home for 7th and 8th grade. And I just felt that tug. Like I felt like the Lord was telling me it was time to homeschool. So finally did it. All right, I have a couple more questions from Kelsey. She asked if I've always been a stay-at-home mama. I have not. When Cole was born, we have come a long way. When Cole was born, we could not afford for me to stay at home at all. Honestly, I was making the most money at that time because my husband was going back to school. So I took my 6 weeks maternity leave and went back to work. And at that time, I was a pharmacy technician, and I just finished college. And then right after Cole was born, I got hired into a corporate office, and I worked in corporate America for 6.5 years. 6.5 years. And then I left there to do direct sales with Mary Kay and became a sales director with Mary Kay. Senior sales director, driving a pink Cadillac. It was a lot of fun. I did that for 5 years and then just decided to step down when we made the decision to do homeschooling because I knew homeschooling would be a full-time thing. And most recently, I've just been a stay-at-home mama. I've kind of done a little bit of everything. She also asked if I had a career that I enjoyed before having a child. No, I did not. We were young when we had Cole. So we got married at 18. I was 23 when Cole was born. I just finished college not too long before that. So like I mentioned, I was a pharmacy tech when he was born. That was definitely not a career choice for me. That was just something that I did while I was in college, and I continued on until I found my corporate job, and I thought corporate America would totally be like right up my alley. I thought that was going to be it. I quickly found out I hated it. I hated the politics of it. I hated sitting in a cubicle prison every day. I hated it. It was just not for me. I'm such a freedom and flexibility type of person. So being kind of micromanaged, that was not my thing. The last questions for today come from Jessica at Keep Calm and Clean. And she asked, how did my husband and I meet? We met when I was 16, almost 17, and he was 19, and he was in the military. We were set up on a blind date by our good friends, Shelly and Steven, and we're still friends with them today. I don't know if you guys saw on Instagram, we went on a field trip the other day to the Billy Graham Library. We went with Shelly and her daughter. So they set us up almost 20 years ago. Oh my word. Yeah. September will be 20 years ago. Then Jessica asked, how did he propose? And it was so sweet. I believe it was August 14th, 1999. So almost a year after we were together. I was a freshman in college, and he was home for the weekend on leave. I mentioned that he was in Fayetteville. It's like a 4-hour drive from where we live. So he was home for the weekend, and he had told me that he was going to take me out for dinner, like a special dinner. So I got all ready and primped, and he came and picked me up at my parents' house because I was going to college, but I was living at home because I was at a local college. And he came and picked me up, and we went back to his mom's house. And I thought, okay, what are we doing? And she wasn't there. He had kicked her out, and he had kicked her and his stepdad and stepbrother out. They were gone for the evening, and it was just us. And I remember walking in, and all the lights were out, but there was candles burning. And I remember freaking out because I thought, he left candles burning and nobody was here. Like, that's my first thought. Not, oh, look how romantic. So me. So me. Anyway, so we went in, and he had already started on dinner. I don't know if it was already ready already. He made chicken fettuccine Alfredo. Anyway, so we sat and ate by candlelight at his mom's house. It was so sweet. He had Sarah McLachlan playing, the CD playing, and the song Angel was on when he proposed. So that's always been like our song. We love that song. And I knew he was going to propose simply because I saw like the ring box in his pocket. He used to wear, he doesn't anymore, tight jeans. And I was like, that's a ring box. So I knew he was about to propose. It was so sweet, so romantic, and we were so young. When he proposed, I was 17. Yeah, I was about to turn 18. And then we got married the next June. And the last question today is from Jessica as well. And she said, how did I find out I was pregnant? Well, we had decided we would start trying. So I went off of the pill, and we got pregnant immediately. And I was always, I knew exactly what day of the month my girl time would start. I'm trying to not share TMI. And we were doing vacation. We were helping out with Vacation Bible School and at church. And I remember telling my friend who I was working with in one station, I said, I think I'm pregnant. And she said, oh, how late are you? And I was like, a few hours. She said, Mandy, I don't know that means anything. I said, it does. I always start on Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock. So this was on Tuesday evening, and I had not started yet, and I was convinced I was pregnant. I was right, by the way. But went home that evening, and I was leaving the next morning or 2 mornings from then. Anyway, I was headed down to Tampa to visit Shelly and Steven, the people who introduced us. And I didn't want to leave and find out I was pregnant there without my husband, because it was a girls' trip. Me and my sister and my friend Jamie, we were driving down. I took a pregnancy test. I knew that it was best to take it in the morning, so I waited till the next morning. I took the pregnancy test, and within seconds that thing said pregnant, and I was only a day late. And I just remember looking at the pregnancy test, and it said positive, panicking a slight bit because, you know, we thought, oh, it'll take a while to get pregnant, and it did not. And I remember looking in the mirror and looking down at my tummy and thinking, life is completely different now. Like, it's not about me anymore. This has just changed everything. It was really scary too, because none of my friends were having babies. No one. Most of them weren't even married yet, because I just did things early. So it was like, what am I going to do? Of course, we figured it out, and that's been over 13 years ago. So that's how I found out I was pregnant. That's it, guys. These are all the questions that I got from Instagram. Thank you so much for watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy Q&A videos and you'd like to see another one in the future. Also, comment below and let me know if you have any questions. I will make sure that I reference this video's comments when it's time for me to film another one, and I'll pull all of the questions from here. I can't guarantee that I can answer them all, but I will try my hardest. Thank y'all. I hope you have a great day. Our friends, everybody loves Raymond, Golden Girls. That's my dog. Oh, God. Just sneeze. On date. Y'all hear that? My husband is on a conference call. My son just came in here and told me he needed me for homeschooling stuff. Already ready already. Anyway,